Hello, the internet. Let's talk about another film from our favorite UK based studio, Aardman Animations. Back in 1999, Aardman made a deal with DreamWorks for them to distribute their films. Where their first two films, Chicken One and Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, were both critical and commercial successes and winning plenty of awards. However, behind the scenes, DreamWorks and Aardman had a pretty rocky relationship. Following the success of Shrek, DreamWorks were keen on Aardman making their projects more Americanized for US kids, which had already begun during production of On Curse the Were-Rabbit. But the film that really went downhill for the two was 2006, Flushed Away, Aardman's first fully CGI film. A film that had a very rocky development, with DreamWorks giving Aardman little to no creative freedom. When released, it wasn't as well received as past Aardman films, and was a box office flop, eventually leading to the relationship between Aardman and DreamWorks being flushed away. Get it? But where do I stand with this? Is this a hidden gem that was unfortunately flushed away? Or is this the film equivalent of poo water? Let's find out, shall we? In Kensington Apartments, there lives an upclass pet named Roddy St. James. Suddenly, he meets a sewer rat named Sid, who ends up making a mess of things. So Roddy tries to trick Sid into being flushed down the drain, but Sid realizes the trick and ends up flushing the rat instead. Roddy lands in the city of Metropolis where he meets Rita, a scavenger who's trying to help out her struggling family. Roddy makes a deal with Rita: if she can return him back home, he can pay her. But the journey won't be easy, as Rita's arch nemesis, the Toad, and his minions are on their tails. Compared to Aardman's other projects, this is easily one of their weaker ones. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film by any means. It just doesn't have that charm that other Aardman films have. Given that it had a really rocky production, you can tell that this film was a lot more suffering out of DreamWorks than Aardman itself. Like having pop culture references, over-the-top slapstick, gross-out humor, and pop music as well. Really lacking that British charm that I like in Aardman films. I'm not saying that it's completely lacking in the UK department, there's still some of it in it, but you can tell it's downplayed for that DreamWorks flair. In addition, the film can be quite mean-spirited towards Roddy at the beginning, where he gets pestered by Sid and flushed down his own potty and gets treated poorly at times. It can all be way too much at times, and I don't laugh at Roddy's suffering. I get that the main character needs some misfortune so they can grow as a person, but since Roddy doesn't have any real character arc, it comes across as the film tortures him for fun. Torturing your main character is a cliche that I despise in media, maybe because I'm an empathetic person. Actually, from what I heard, Roddy was going to be a lot more snobbish and rude, which I wish the film kept that character because it would have made suffering somewhat deserved because how much of a jerk he can be, and this will give Roddy a story arc of not being so snobby. But anyways, let's talk about what's good about this film. Like I said before, this is not a bad film. Like the city of Metropolis is really creative, from how the rats would use ordinary materials for everyday objects like buildings, houses, and boats. It's really imaginative, and it gives the film a lot of charm. Our main characters are likable as well. While I did find Roddy a bit bland with no real character arc, he is a likable enough lead character you feel for. And while I did say Roddy was arcless, him learning about friendship and being someone does give him somewhat some depth, as in the beginning he was quite lonely. While Rita is a cool rat who is both intelligent and easily adaptable, plus her love for family is generally sweet. Plus, our villains are a lot of fun. The Toad is this pompous you'll feel sorry for once, and then Boone and hissing at next. Plus, Ian McKellen gives him a deep, booming voice that fits his upclass style. while his minions are just hilarious, with Spike and Wily bouncing off each other as the crazy one and the calm, kind one. When looking at the animation, given that this is Aardman's first CGI film, the animation looks interesting. I admire that they're trying to keep their classic Aardman style, even to the point of making some of the characters look plasticine-ish. And the Rat Tropical City is, like I said before, extremely creative. I admire the intent, but it does look a little bit cheap looking in places. It's far from the worst CGI film. It's far from the worst CGI animation, but still. I heard that the reason the film is in CGI instead of Aardman's usual stop motion is because certain shots require water effects, and since water would damage the plasticine models, I can understand why they went for this route. Still, Aardman would eventually improve their CGI with their next film, Arthur Christmas. Then we have the music composed by Harry Gregson Williams, which I really like, having a very charming feel to the movie and fitting the mood to the scene. To conclude, I found Flushed Away to be okay. It's definitely Aardman's weakest film to me, but it's no train wreck. Overall, this gets a 7 out of 10. It's definitely got some charm to it, a creative setting, and memorable villains, but I can tell that this film could have been better had DreamWorks not been so controlling towards Aardman. I could tell that this is the film where the two studios were at their wits' end. Thankfully, the two would later on go and make bigger and better things after splitting up.